the risk of getting sort of the superficial answer of like, you know, your devotion and everything else, I'm curious. You've described some pretty harrowing scenarios here. Why do you do this? Why do you go back?
I don't know how to do anything else.
That was my answer. Well, in all seriousness, I've invested quite a lot in this story. I came to Ukraine in 2010, and as I mentioned before, felt pretty hard for the country, and it's been a major part of my journalism career as well. I made very close friends and I've built relationships with people not only in the last 2 or 3 years, but I'm still very close with a lot of my friends from Bakhmut in 2010, who were the first people I met when I came there, and I care a lot about them, and I've seen the country change in so many ways, mostly positive ways, and I feel very invested, and I think it is a very, very important story to tell. Evidence of me speaking the truth right now is the fact that I did not leave Ukraine to go off and take up another beat or another story after 2014, 2015. There were not very many journalists who stuck around and did a lot of coverage. I mean, you guys kept coming back and did a lot of coverage as well. I did the same. A lot of people went off and they moved to Beirut, like we said, or Istanbul, or whatever it was. I had opportunities to do that. I tried my hand at a few other things, but like Simon, I can't do anything else. So I've been there, but it's because I think it's really important, and I'll leave it there and let Simon answer.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, I would feel like it's a waste of all of the kind of background knowledge, the context that I've developed over these many years of reporting on Ukraine. If I went off and wrote about cartels in Mexico, that would also be dangerous. Okay, yeah, but whatever. Or Silicon Valley, something else. I could probably do that. I would find it interesting, and I have done that periodically over the years, covered something completely different. But I feel I'm most useful, in my experience, is most useful to readers if I focus on Ukraine and these stories that are just very important to tell. They're very complicated. The history is complicated. The language skills are not as common as one would hope. So yeah, that's what keeps me coming back.
I would add that it's a challenge. You said it's not easy, but it's a challenge. Like it's an extremely complex place, which as a journalist is a fun test to take on too, right? And I'm always learning, which is another reason why.
For me, building on what Simon and Chris said, it's also very personal. Of course, I was born in Ukraine and grew up there. It's also important to take part by observing in these events because, of course, it's history, and I feel like we're kind of on the brink of world changing to something that we have never seen before. So it's, besides just being interesting, it's important to understand better the situation, to kind of put another piece in the kind of endless puzzle of a really complex situation that's forming in Ukraine and Europe and the world. And yeah, at this point, I just can't imagine doing anything else.
Great, okay. I think we're gonna have a lot of Q&A. Please keep your question brief and keep it a question.